everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Valentine's Day is right around the corner, so we are in the kitchen again today making 5 yummy treats for Valentine's Day. Perfect for any little get-together you might be having, a little gift for family or friends, or grab your Valentine into the kitchen and have a little cooking date. I always think that is just so much fun. So we're gonna hop right on into our first treat, but before we do so, click that little subscribe button down below. If you are new here, we would love to have you. So first up, we're gonna be making white chocolate fudge conversation hearts. And I think they're just gonna be so cute. I'm super excited. You're gonna get a medium-sized saucepan and add in your 4 tablespoons of butter, 1.5 cups of sugar, a little pinch of salt, and then a 5-ounce can of evaporated milk. So we're gonna pop this on the stove over medium heat until it comes to a boil, and then as we continue to stir it constantly, we're gonna let it simmer for a couple minutes, and then we will go ahead and add our other ingredients. Go ahead and get those ready. You're gonna need a 7-ounce jar of fluff or marshmallow cream, your vanilla extract, and then 18 ounces of white chocolate chips. Or you can also use baking chocolate if you like as well. So now I'm gonna go ahead and add our 7 ounces of marshmallow cream into the pot, let it melt down and become fully incorporated. So now we're gonna take this off the heat and add in our 18 ounces of white chocolate chips. For me, that is about 1 bag plus. And the chips should melt down pretty quickly. If not, just pop it back on the stove on low heat until they do. And once everything is melted and it looks smooth, go ahead and add your vanilla and mix that in. So once this is all mixed in, you can go ahead and transfer it to an 8x8 pan. And this is gonna wanna cool on the counter for an hour and then in the fridge for 1 to 2 hours. Then you can go ahead and cut them into squares, or in our case, you can go ahead and use cookie cutters and cut them into hearts. However, I don't want to have all of the scraps, so I'm going to go ahead and put my fudge directly into this heart mold and cool it this way. Not only will it cool quicker, but I'm not going to be wasting all of those scraps when I use my cookie cutter. So at this point, if you're not a big decorator, you could just add some sprinkles on top of your fudge and it'll make it look super duper cute for Valentine's Day. But if you're like me and you like to do a little extra decorating, you could color your fudge using food coloring, just like conversation hearts, and later on we'll be adding little messages to them. So these have been on the counter cooling for about 30-45 minutes. I'm just going to slide them on this cutting board so they're easy to move around. I'm gonna put plastic wrap on it and it'll go in the fridge for about 2 hours before I want to decorate. So now that the fudge is cooled, I'm going to simply pop it out of the molds and you have a perfect little heart. They look super duper cute and you can decorate them with icing, probably an edible marker would work too, but I am using melting chocolate of different colors. Ooh, and one just leaked everywhere. That's okay, we'll clean it up. I'm just gonna write little sayings on it just like a conversation heart would have. So these turned out just so adorable. I know it's the first thing I've made, but they might end up being my favorite, like cuteness level wise. And they're delicious too. I just already had one and they are super sweet, but what fudge isn't? I'm honestly not a big fudge person, but I do like these, so. Delicious and adorable. So our next 2 treats are super, super easy to make and they're honestly so delicious and they look adorable on a little Valentine's Day charcuterie board, which I actually will be making in my next video for you guys. But next up we have chocolate-filled raspberries. I went ahead and washed up my berries here. Then you're gonna wanna grab your favorite melting chocolate, whatever brand you prefer, and follow the directions that are on the back of the package. It is good to have some shortening on hand just in case your chocolate seizes up. I like to keep it in my pantry for those emergencies. So once my chocolate is melted, I just put it in a little Ziploc bag, and I'm gonna cut off the tip of the bag, and we have a little DIY piping bag now. And I'm just going to take a raspberry here and fill it with the chocolate. And there you go, a nice little snack. Once they're filled, I'm just propping them up in a little bowl while they dry, and you can pop these in the fridge or even the freezer. They are so delicious in the freezer, but it's a nice little sweet treat. Honestly, I don't know why I don't make these and just keep in my freezer for a little, midnight snack. I might have to do that. If you're making a big batch of these, you're not sure how to store them, you can prop them up in a muffin tin while they're setting originally, and then once they're set, you can just dump them in a Tupperware and keep them in your freezer. So our next treat is the beloved chocolate-covered strawberry, but we're gonna make them heart-shaped for Valentine's Day. So of course we have our washed berries here, and I'm just going to take one out, cut the top off, and then I'm gonna go ahead and cut it in half as well. And I'm going to cut a triangle at the top, and now we have a little heart. So go ahead and melt down some chocolate just like we did for the raspberries. And you're just gonna go ahead and dip the top of the strawberry into the chocolate, or you can also add a toothpick in and drizzle it over the top, which is what I prefer to do. You just have a little bit more control on where the chocolate goes and everything. You really can't go wrong with chocolate covered strawberries, and these little heart ones are just adorable. So now we're gonna be whipping up some cookies and cream cookies, and I am so excited about these. I've never made them, but the recipe looks delicious. We're gonna start by prepping all of our dry ingredients, starting with our 2 3/4 cup of flour, putting that in a big mixing bowl. And then our 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. I'm just mixing this with a fork so it's ready for later. All right, I'm gonna put this aside. Next up, I put about 12 Oreos in a gallon-sized Ziploc bag, and we're just gonna go ahead and crush them up. So now we have our mixer out here, and I'm just gonna add 1 cup of softened butter, and then 1.5 cups of sugar. And we're gonna go and cream that together. We just mix that until it is nice and smooth, and now I'm adding my 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 1 egg. Because I want my cookies to be pink, I'm going to add a couple drops of red food coloring. Combine all that together. Now I'm going to slowly add our dry ingredients. All right, so our dough is pretty much complete, but now we're just going to add in our Oreo cookie crumbs. And because I just feel like it, we're gonna add some of the white chocolate chips that were left over from the fudge. Looks good. Scooping my cookies onto parchment paper here, and then they will go into the oven for 12 minutes. So the cookies have cooled down, and they did take about 12 minutes in the oven. Let's see how they taste. delicious. It's pretty much just your normal sugar cookie, but it does have your Oreos and the white chocolate chips in there for, you know, little bursts of flavor. So next up, we're baking some Pretzel Hearts. So to start, all I'm doing is lining up some normal plain old pretzels on some parchment paper. I went ahead and already melted down some white candy melts, and I put a Ziploc in this little bowl so it's easy to make a little piping bag out of it. So after cutting a little tip off the bag, I'm just going to fill in the pretzel with the white chocolate. And place a little heart candy in the center. So it is a heart within a heart. Okay, so it just takes a couple minutes for the chocolate to set, and the parchment paper is super important for this one, especially so it doesn't stick to the bottom. But these are super yummy. I may have already had like 5 or 6 of them. They're just easy to pop in your mouth and like keep going. So great, great party food that is super cute. So that wraps up all of our treats for today. Thank you so much for cooking along with me. And my next video, if it is already live, I'll go ahead and link it up on the screen for you. But that one will be making a little charcuterie board using some store-bought items and some homemade ones as well. So I'll see you guys all then. Bye!